News Dump. Mac, the 96th Academy Awards took place this past weekend, and Oppenheimer took home 7 of where it was nominated for 14? 13, so that's over half. And because of all of these Oscars, and I believe because he won for Best Director, that was the main thing here, but Christopher Nolan, bonuses, because of the bonuses, over $100 million from that movie he made. I just look like Yoda.
Hell of a payday there for Nolan. Well deserved, obviously. At 7 Academy Award wins, I still feel like Oppenheimer should have won at least 3, if not 4 more of those. But what are you going to do? 7 Academy Award wins is 7 wins. I have read that Nolan's next movie, I already forget what it was going to be about. It was an intriguing premise. Look it up. It's just a rumor. Of course, anything Nolan writes, you're going to be interested in because he always fucks and manipulates with time.
Yeah.
So you're assuming that's going to happen again. I wouldn't mind if he took a little break, though. You know, he finally got his award. Take your time. Just work on passion projects now. You know what I mean? He's
already said that he's going to make another big tentpole movie. He
doesn't have to because
he does have to.
It's weird. It's a weird dichotomy, Goo. He made Tenet, 4 years ago, 3 years ago?
It came out during the pandemic.
Yeah, and that was not great. I didn't care for that movie. Objectively, not bad. The storytelling was weak. Typically, like, that would be on the downside of a director. And you could argue he was trending downwards up until Oppenheimer. So I'm just intrigued as to the style of movie he will make next. But yeah.
What else happened from that night, Mac?
The internet has been all up in arms all week long because Emma Stone defeated Lily Gladstone for Best Actress. And hear me out. I had money on Lily Gladstone. In my opinion, she deserved the award. I think she gave the best performance from the year. However, after watching Poor Things and seeing what Emma Stone did there, she was also deserving of the Best Actress award. And here's the issue. In any given year, that's going to happen. There's going to be 2, 3, maybe even sometimes 4 performances that are deserving of the award, and you can only give it to one. Now, the internet's upset because Emma Stone has an award already, is world famous, and she's your classic.
Because someone has an award doesn't mean they can't win another award. Someone has to win, someone has to lose.
They've also turned it into, because she's a white and Lily Gladstone is a person of color, they're like, oh, here we go, Hollywood again. I would just say if you hold that opinion or anything close to that and you haven't seen Poor Things, go watch Poor Things. Emma Stone's pretty incredible.
It sucks for Lily Gladstone. It sucks for Paul Giamatti and Jeffrey Wright, but like, what are you going to do?
I also I think it would have meant more to Lily Gladstone to win, but also like Emma Stone's win was for La La Land. And people can say if they want, that movie's not good. No. I don't know. That was a weak year. If you go back and look at the nominees, she probably was the best of that crop, but I think she probably feels better about this one than she did that one. So credit to Emma Stone. Spider-Verse was nominated for one category only, Best Animated Feature. It lost to The Boy and the Heron. It blows my mind that movie was nominated for
Lord
one
and Miller
Academy
did come
Award.
out and say that if you have to lose to the GOAT.
Yeah, fair enough. I had a bit of a back and forth with one of our listeners on Twitter. Why is an animated movie like Spider-Verse not nominated for Best Visual Effects? I get it's animated, so it's all visual effects, but this breaks the mold. You know, this isn't your typical animated movie. This had dozens of animation styles in it, blew people's minds. Like, to me, Spider-Verse is the quintessential example of what wins Best Visual Effects. To me, it shouldn't have to be a live action movie, but what are you going to do?
Godzilla did win visual effects, by the way.
Godzilla did win that. And again, I'm happy for them. It's a great story, not a big budget movie. I just don't think it was deserving. It wasn't of the quality, even of the other ones in its category. The biggest winner on the evening in terms of, public perception, not awards wise.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling. Gosling. I think people forget he was on the Mickey Mouse Club with all those talented people, and he was just as talented as all of them. He's saying live, you could tell the mic was on. He's saying, I'm just Ken. I did slow it down a little bit, it sounded like, but he absolutely crushed that performance.
Not only that, he also went on stage with Emily Blunt, and they had a little back and forth with Barbenheimer. So,
yeah, little tit for
two of
tat.
the top probably 6 bits on the night right there.
Yeah. Also, John Cena. Big win for John Cena.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly funny bit. Very
Also, my favorite part of the night was when Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger took aim at Michael Keaton in the audience. And
That was
Keaton
great.
has since said that he actually brought that wardrobe there, the ascot, to wear to Bruce Wayne it up.
He just did the perfect little like bring it on type of thing. It was fucking great. So
Fantastic.
good. Keaton's the best.
News dip. Speaking of Keaton, speaking of Batman, the Batman Part 2 is being delayed until 2026.
That is a really long layoff for a movie. Was it 2022 now that movie came out? Or was it last year? Was it 23?
Was it? It was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
We sure about that? Sure about
I'm not sure about that's why.
That's not why.
I'm not sure about why.
That's a bummer, obviously. But again, that's one of those ones we're just gonna wait. Make it as good as possible. Take your time. Don't rush it. I like Matt Reeves at this point hasn't missed, and I just want him to be allowed to do whatever he wants.
Also, Pattinson's awesome, and that Battinson is also awesome. And fill in the blanks for a little while.
Yeah,
with that
22. So that's a 4-year gap between the
That's rough.
movies.
The worst thing about that is now you have the possibility of having to wait a decade for a trilogy.
And at that point, you can't expect everyone to sign on for all these movies either, too, which is a bummer.
News down. We have found out from James Gunn that Peacemaker Season 2 counts. This one counts. This will take place after the new Superman movie, but Season 1 is not canon.
This is a little bit of having your cake and eating it too. I don't care for this, and we did have questions in that Peacemaker finale when we had cameos pop up from the Justice League. I really like the character of Peacemaker. I don't think that Gunn should force him into the new DCU. You know, I think we can do without.
I am confused too. Does Season 1 of Peacemaker count for Season 2 of Peacemaker?
Right. Is it an anthology? Is it a brand new, like, did
is
the event
starting a new run?
affect the season? Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. It seems like he's just trying to save his little baby there, which I get, but if you're severing ties with everything else from the old DCU, just cut ties with Peacemaker.
Also, this takes place just before the Waller show.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Giancarlo Exposito.
Ooh, Exposito.
Amon Warman.
Amon-Ra?
Yeah, sure.
Sun God?
Giancarlo Esposito said that he would like to play Professor X with Denzel Washington as Magneto. And while that does sound interesting, you would have to change the backstory a little bit, obviously, of the characters. He then said that he would like to play Professor X, not in a wheelchair.
Well, two things. Number one, the wheelchair thing rules him out for Professor X. Play someone else. We can't have you changing.
Too many caveats.
Yeah.
I feel like if you want one caveat, we can talk about it. But once you start sprinkling in more, and I want him to have hair this time.
The only time he's not in a wheelchair is when he's young. You're like 65, so we can't do that. Number two, don't get me wrong. Biggest Denzel guy there is on the planet. Denzel is only going to play Denzel for the rest of his career. He would not work as Magneto. I don't care what anyone says. He would not work as
Magneto. Walks up to Professor X. My man.
Apocalypse ain't got shit on me.
Should we just write this Denzel?
Yeah. This is our fan fiction. So listen, I love you, Giancarlo. I liked the idea initially of you maybe as Professor X. Now I hate it. I don't want you.
Also, it seems like what the MCU is going to do is start with the original X-Men group. So a younger version of these characters eventually. So
yeah,
hiring 2 guys in their 60s, not the best move.
No, terrible idea.
News down. Speaking of the X-Men, Marvel has fired the writer producer of X-Men 97 just 1 week before the show is coming out.
This timing is so bizarre, Goo.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be more to this story come out in the next weeks, months. The gentleman's name is Bo DeMeo. He also worked on Moon Knight and Blade, so he's been in with Marvel for a few years.
And Blade was so good.
He has since deleted his social media. There's something afoot here.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre, especially for as much anticipation as there is surrounding this show, that you would axe the head writer and one of the producers. So I am keep your eye out for what's going to come out there.
But you know what Marvel did today? They distracted me with a scene from X-Men 97.
They sure did.
And it is a group fight with Sentinels. And what I thought was Rogue giving one of those Sentinels the Stone Cold Stunner, but apparently I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's a neck breaker. If you grab the back of the neck, it can't be a stunner. It's a neck breaker on the back.
It's essentially the Stone Cold Stunner. Just you grab it from
the same motion, yeah, but it's the you grab in a different part of the body. You know, or
is the Stone Cold Stunner the best finishing move of all time?
Man. So it's definitely on the short list of iconic moves, in part because the opponent you give it to has a chance to oversell it, and that's always the best part of the stunner. Obviously, Orton has another cutter-like move. The RKO is up there because he hits it from out of nowhere. I've always been partial to Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb from the top rope, but you're always going to see me loving a good flip. Triple H's pedigree is great. There's some iconic ones. It's tough to top the stunner, that's for sure.
We had several rules at Watertown High School in Massachusetts. One of them being, if someone walks into you, you need to take the charge. And if someone sees it, they have to come over and call the charge.
Yeah, you got to call the charge.
The other one being is if someone yells stunner and kicks into your mid area, you need to then bend over and allow them to
toe kick to Groggy.
You need to sell that stunner.
Toe kick to Groggy. You gotta take it like a champ. It's always a great move. We also used to Hadouken people in the middle of the hallway, which would terrify young freshmen.
We had a good time. You know what my dad asked me the other day, and I didn't know how to answer it? He asked me, do I believe that I'm smarter now than I was in high school? And I said, I hope so.
It's different though, right? You couldn't pass any of the tests you took in high school today, but
Gosh, I couldn't have passed them back then either.
If you took your 16-year-old self though and put you out on the street and asked you to do like 4 tasks, you wouldn't be able to do it as a 16-year-old. You could do it now.
He did tell me that he thinks that I'm smarter now, which is nice.
That's good. You know what it is for you? You're more focused now. You could give a fuck in high school.
Yeah, it was a big old waste of time. News up. Speaking of wasting time, Venom, The Last Dance. We now have a subtitle. Is that what it is? To the Venom 3. I
think it's technically part of the title.
About how I'm smarter now, and then
subtitles. I don't know. There are subtitles for things, but often they very rarely are included on a big movie like this. Subtitles, for example, would be that. What's that Emily Blunt in Tom Cruise movie? They subtitled the shit out of that one.
Oh yeah, it is like 4 subtitles.
Venom: The Last Dance. I'll tell you what. I don't know where they're going with this film. I didn't know where they were going in the first place. By titling it The Last Dance, I have even less of an idea of what they're going to do.
You think Phil Jackson's in this?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this whole movie will shit on Isaiah Thomas too. This is bizarre. But you know what? Get weird. Get weird with it. Why not?
It's going to help me in the movie draft.
I don't know about that.
I think it will, because people are going to say...
You have Venom?
Yeah, I got Venom.
Venom.
People are going to say, this is it. I got to see it now. It might have Michael Jordan.
I hope it ties into the singy-songy Joker Folie. I hope somehow we cross streams there.
Speaking of being confused, Michael Keaton, bit confused, Mac. He said on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast that at the end of Morbius, he didn't know what was happening, and everyone there even couldn't quite explain it to him. And I think I explained it pretty simple. You're trying to hatch a scheme with your friend Michael to get back at Spider-Man, who you think has something to do with this, and he thinks that he should team up.
Vulture as in me or Vulture as in him?
Nice.
You both named Vulture? No, that's why I'm so fucking confused. It seems also, so what this does sound like though is he did shoot the scene, but they never showed his face.
Like, I'm all but certain, and I'm surprised he didn't say this, is that he shot the beginning part of that scene where he's being taken out of jail.
Sure.
And then everything in the Vulture costume is someone doing a Michael Keaton
maybe you're
impression.
still right about that. You made that point then. I think you're right about that, but he doesn't mention that at all. But there's also a good chance he never even watched what they showed.
You know what I want to do, and I'm probably gonna do because I love to waste time, is I'm gonna recut that scene, but I'm gonna put him in the other guys talking about TLC. I'm gonna use those lines talking to Morbius.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
That movie stinks.
Creep.
Yeah. News done. Speaking of Keaton, he said that Beetlejuice 2, this is from Variety, he is confident that this thing is great.
Listen, you're not going to get me to buy in 100% on Beetlejuice 2, but I am cautiously optimistic for this. And if Keaton loves it, it's probably going to be weird enough that we're going to love it.
The original was so fun and exciting visually. All of that is really beautiful and interestingly emotional. I wasn't ready for that. It's great.
I do hope that they go like Del Toro style and it's a lot of practical.
He's already said that. He's already said that everything in the movie was there on set with them.
Okay. I like that a lot. That is encouraging. That bodes well for the movie. I don't even really care a ton about what the plot is, to be honest with you. I just want to spend more time in that little fucking.
I know Tim Burton.
What do they call that world?
The afterlife.
Afterlife, right?
I know that Tim Burton loves AI, so maybe he had AI write this and produce this for him.
God, Jesus.
That was a joke. Tim Burton hates AI.
Don't we all?
News done. You love Allen Iverson. Neve Campbell is on her way back to the Scream franchise after she was penny pinched out of the last one, but they need bodies.
I don't like that you went with your own headline here, personally. I
messed up on, I should have had Neve on both of them be capitalized, and I accidentally did.
You went with Never Say Never, and I went with Screen 7 Nabs Neve, little alliteration. You know?
I don't like that one.
Nabs Neve.
While I fix this.
Nabs Neve.
No, I like Neve because her name is Neve.
We are never getting back to Neve. That was pretty bad. Yeah, she's back for Scream 7. Kevin Williamson is directing the film. He was the writer on the first two Scream movies, Scream 4, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yes. He's also the creator of Dawson's Creek. What a career this man has had. This man has fundamentally molded my life.
He was the king of the late 90s.
His only directing credit, which is interesting because he will be directing Scream 7, is Teaching Mrs. Tingle, the Joshua Jackson vehicle.
That's a sexy one too.
Yeah, so this is intriguing. I bet they backed up the Brinks truck for Neve, no doubt, after Barrera and Ortega left, but I guess she's back.
News down. Halloween again.
I had nothing for this one. I don't understand this. This is the worst news of the week, actually. The upcoming Halloween series is going to completely reset the franchise back to the original film. So they are once again getting rid of all the sequels, but they're making it a series now. I don't know.
But it comes after the first movie.
Yeah. So again, we're going back to a sequel of the first movie, and now it's a series. How are you going to do a series for a man that's kind of only comes around once a year?
Hear me out. I have an idea.
All right.
What if they end up in a hospital?
Oh, boy.
And then maybe he has some kind of a relative that has some kind of spooky connection to him. And then she eventually goes mute and he kills a hitchhiker.
Goo, do you think as each year that passes and each sequel we get, that the original Halloween 2, do you think it looks better and better as we go on?
Yes, but I still don't love it. I'm a big fan of Halloween 4, though.
I really like Halloween 2. And I know you don't love it, but the hospital setting is terrifying.
Also,
I'm a big setting guy, though.
Yeah, you like the hot tub scene, though.
Well, hot tub scene was nice. I'm a big setting guy, though, because I would say 75% of the reason why I love The Strangers is the setting. It just plays so well.
Set it and forget it. News dump. Got a trailer for The Crow today or yesterday, and it looks a lot better than what I thought it was going to look like.
I'll tell you, this is going to help Ryan Davey in the draft. This movie looks much better than I anticipated. The first one is beloved by many. cult classic. I have trouble seeing what's going on in the first movie.
I think it's the crow. He's black and he fly around and go.
The crow. 50% of it is like that Game of Thrones episode when you couldn't see anything. So that's my main issue with that movie. Don't love that movie. This movie, brighter. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the brutality of the trailer. I think I'm in on this movie, Gil.
He's like some sort of not giving up school guy.
I still don't know how to say Skarsgård's co-star's name, FKA Twigs. I don't know if it's Fucka Twigs. I don't know how you say it, but she's there too.
Also, credit to this movie, and we've already talked about this, and I think we need to figure out a system to get it into our next movie draft. And there needs to be points for being sexy.
Okay. Well, I would just draft Sydney Sweeney movies then, though.
I know, but like even if you just get 1 point for something sexy.
And in last place with 201 points this year was Goo. He had 20 sexy movies, but they all sucked.
I could just get 20 points, 1 point for each. Goo drafted 20 pornos.
They all got 0, but got the +1.
News up. Big news for A24. They are doing a little run here with IMAX. They have teamed up for a monthly screening of series of their movies, and some that are on the board here: March 27th, Ex Machina, April 24th, Hereditary, and on May 22nd, Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Did you like my headline for this one, Goo? A24,
I did actually.
IMAX. The new Empire.
I lulled.
I don't think I'll catch any of the. If I were to see one in IMAX,
Ex Machina,
or it might be worth seeing IMAX. It'll be Ex Machina. As much as I love Uncut Gems, you don't need to see that in IMAX.
No, but Megan Fox.
Uncut Gems. That's not her name.
What did I say?
That's not my name. That's not my. You said Megan.
And who am I thinking of?
Julia.
Oh, that's right, Julia Fox.
Julia Fox, who
former winner of Max Cracks.
Yeah, I've very much soured on her. I was very high on the Julia Fox train for about 6 months, but that has crashed and burned. But it looks like she's putting on a little more weight, which is good.
Okay.
She's like way too skinny now.
Oh, Mac. We have early returns on Monkey Man and the Fall Guy. One movie that IGN said stinks, and the other one is average.
Yeah, Monkey Man, which comes out April 5th, which I understand why we would have some early returns on right now. 90% on Roddy T, 69 on Metacritic. So they are liking it, not loving it. It sounds like this is the Dev Patel revenge action thriller type movie. I think we're both looking forward to it.
Yes.
The second movie is The Fall Guy, which doesn't come out for another 2 months. Very bizarre to have like early screenings.
I got that buzz going, baby.
I guess so.
There's not a lot of blockbusters this year. So I think movies like this are going to try and cash in on that.
Hey, fair enough. This comes out May 3rd. Another 90% on Roddy T's, a 79 on Metacritic. So the early returns on The Fall Guy are very high from the critics. They're saying it's one of the better like rom-coms in many years. So I'm excited for that.
Even IGN, which is my Bible, who gave it a 7, said this is Gosling's funniest role.
Which I could see, but that's going to be, we'll see. We'll be the judge about that, IGN.
And Blue Valentine. He's been in some real laugh riots.
He's done it all.
He's done. And finally, Mac, Invincible is back.
Yeah, Invincible is back on Prime, episode 5, kicking off season 2, part 2. I've kind of lost interest in the show, Goo. This fucking layoff
never picked up the first half of season 2, and I don't think I want to.
The first half of season 2 is kind of a mess. It's disjointed. Okay. I'm hoping this gets back to like a more central story, but I'm in no rush to see this. I'll wait till they're all out, and I'll wait for someone to tell me it's actually good before I dive back in. They really shot themselves in the foot.
News up. All right, Mac, let's discuss very quickly upcoming schedule at the start of next week. I know that we said today we were going to do March Madness. We'll be doing that at the start of next week. Best movie villains since the year 1990. We'll then follow that up with a dump. We will then do Aquaman and the Lost City. Ooh. I'm so excited about that. That's what I want to talk about right now. I'm jazzed up. I might watch it again.
I might not say a word that whole podcast.
You might not have to.
I'll just nod and shake my head.
Also, we had a great trivia last night at Idle Hands Craft Ales, 89 Commercial Street, Malden, Massachusetts. We did The Office Part 2. Great time. And we announced that we'll be doing on April 17th, I believe. That's a Wednesday. And the next topic, that's what they call it, is going to be Saturday morning cartoons. And I'll tell you right now, my focus, late 80s through the early 2000s.
There you go. Nice, like 15-year gap for the folks.
He-Man, Transformers, Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was very impressed with the fellow who brought his answer sheets from our prior to Office trivias, but also very happy that we didn't reuse any questions for this third one, so it didn't actually help him. It was good. I think we did reuse one or two for the second one.
Credit to us.
Yeah, credit to us.
All right, so that'll do it right here. News dump.